Welcome everyone to this new episode of Recovery. I'm really excited to have Eric Pearson with me today. And so my name is Alain Kapatashungu, co-founder of Frontdoor. And I'm really excited, as I said, to chat with Eric today. So Eric, first of all, how are you doing today?
Everything's going good, man. Blessed. And,
awesome.
I always say same thing, different day, man. Just got to keep it out. So
Agreed. Awesome. So a little bit of background first on how I got connected with Eric, and obviously about his resume, which is really interesting. So Eric was introduced to me. We were introduced together by our common friend Billy a few years ago. I think maybe 1 or 2 years ago.
Yep.
And so Billy now runs a business solutions department at Leading Gary, and so he introduced me to Eric as I was looking to just have more conversation with agents and broker owners in DC. So Eric is the founder and CEO of Pearson Smith Realty, which is a residential real estate brokerage, and was voted one of Washington's fastest growing companies in 2018. So Eric's focus at Pearson is on an agent empowerment through technology and a strong culture. And I just love the way he's been able to build this company. We're going to talk a little bit, obviously, about it. And I'm really excited about what he's going to share with us today. So, Eric,
I'm excited to do so, man.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So let's get started with this. Let's kick things off with this first question. So, obviously, we are all going through this pandemic, as you and I were chatting a little bit about before taping. So, but can you try at least to walk us through a quote unquote typical workday during this pandemic for you, obviously as a broker owner?
Yeah, well, it's been different. I think we've all realized a lot in the real estate world how it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Virtual. So we were very, again, blessed in the fact that we've always been set up to work this way, right? So we have brick-and-mortar offices because that's important in my mind for and things like that. But everything we have can be done from the comfort of someone's house in terms of just a virtual aspect, whether it's brokerage help, contracts, meetings through a Zoom, which we're obviously doing right now. So we were set up to make that happen. Now, what we did as an adjustment for a company, right? Because it's important to keep culture high. We keep everybody positive. For the first 30 to 45 days, it was a lot of people kind of, figuring out what's going to be better for them. Basically, what we did as a company is when it first took place, we had a big virtual brokerage meeting, kind of informing everybody. Awesome. These are going to be our steps to keeping you informed, keeping you on top of things as we move forward. And how we did that basically was the second quarter of this year, we did daily updates to everybody. So everybody would go out, basically a small brokerage meeting in terms of what's happening in the industry, what executive orders are coming out that could impact your business, how you can be practicing, how you can improve that. So we're actually doing a daily update. And we did that for a 90-day period. So, I'm actually glad I was able to come through with it. I was able to kind of do those because I was, personally getting those out. So for the first 90 days, we literally hit it every day just because I knew everybody's mindset would be a little bit, man, what should I be doing? What can I be doing? All those type things. And what was important to me, and this is kind of what you see in the industry, is there was basically 3 subsets of people, right? So you have people, honestly, that real estate is real estate.
Absolutely.
Be successful. So you had some people who just were probably never doing the activities and just it didn't. But then you had some that were, you know what? I'm not going to stop. This is I'm just going to keep going down, keep my head down, and everything will be good to go. But you have a group that was almost like paralyzed in terms of, oh my gosh, do I have to stop? Do I need to stay home? So it's letting those people know, like, hey, still be consistent in activity, still go out there and do these things. Here's tips and tricks to help that. So initially we did it 90 days daily updates, so that way everybody in tune with what's going on. And then this third quarter, now that everybody's kind of become accustomed to what's we're basically doing on a weekly update. We everything to virtual. We got it set up where our kind of, agent ramp up boot camp classes are now virtual. Our trainings are now virtual. Our brokerage meetings are on a monthly basis, so we get it out to them. So even though I haven't seen anybody, in person as much as I'd like, I'm in the office now. I kind of still continue to do that. Everybody has their different level of cautiousness, but obviously have face masks,
absolutely,
all that stuff, doing it the right way. But even though I haven't seen anybody, I still feel we're still connected, right, as an entire brokerage in terms of, what we're doing. So, it hasn't really, outside that initial, 30, 45 days, since then, have, been doing extremely well in terms of business. Good. And actually July was our best month in history. August will be that. So, continuing to just do the right things. I think we have an amazing group of people and we've been able to push through it. So.
That is awesome. And to kind of piggyback on what you just said earlier, I love the fact that you started by saying we were actually built for that. And now I understand because you've been able to just pretty much go virtual from day one. And and I've been fortunate enough to talk with a few agents and a few team leaders, as you can imagine, and a lot of people are actually were scrambling when this thing got started. And I just love the fact that you already, obviously you couldn't anticipate that, but you were ready for something like that, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that's good that you in saying that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I won't lie and say it was by design, right? It's not like we were always there'll be this day where it has to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've just slowly implemented things mainly due to efficiency, right? Because we're efficient in everything that we do. An example, the traditional brokerage model is usually I work out of this office and this is a broker that wears every hat, right? That's the one to. We're different in terms of, we call it the broker helpline. It's just everybody puts in their phone, they ring it, it calls every broker, and then whoever's available first gets right back to them. So we're more hey, we want everybody to be there for you at any time. So
awesome.
Much of a change. I won't act like we built it, around that, because I'm a strong of there needs to be some brick and mortar mixed with the virtual world.
Agreed.
But luckily it's the things we put in place to make ourselves more efficient as a brokerage really played out well during this.
That is awesome. So you touched on a little bit about what's happening with the team, which I think is just awesome. But how have you been able to maintain that, to stay on top of business as it pertains to your clients now? Like how have you been able to communicate with them? Have you guys been able to do some showings lately? Like how did you stay in contact with your client as it pertains to their
so
needs?
in our world, again, we've been lucky in the fact that we've been considered essential the entire time. Right? So our agents have been able to go out there and practice. Some states within our kind of MLS where they actually shut it. Based on market activity. Again, all we saw was that first 30 days of figuring it out. So you saw a drop in the market, and then it's just been climbing kind of ever since. But what we did, and surprisingly, most people still went with the standard way, right? They'd go and see a property, and they'd put their face mask on, bring their gloves. They would just be, comfortable in that setting, making sure it was more, those material to the purchase. Don't bring 10 people with you to social distance, all those things. But we did, we came up with kind of flyers, marketing material that we could put out there that said, hey, if you're not comfortable with that, right, because everybody's different, again, it's the cautious level, like we can do this entire thing virtually, right? Literally. On the buyer side, it can be done virtually. On the seller side, it can be done virtually. So everything was kind of set up. We were very in tune with our lenders, very in tune with our title companies on how they were going to go about making it more of a virtual process. So really what we did was educate the client, hey, we can go out and do the virtual showing. We can easily, Zoom you in, FaceTime you in. You can see, the property. There's really never a true risk to the client, to be honest, because you're going to have so many contingencies involved in the process in our area. So, if they ever saw it in person, it wasn't exactly right for them. It's not like they wouldn't have plenty of outs to, make that decision. But we let them know, hey, this can be done virtually. We'll set it up consultation with a Zoom. I can FaceTime you in for the showing. We use Dotloop for electronic signature platform and everything like that. So literally from contract to close, it can be done. So we just more inform the consumer, hey, here's the way we can do it. And again, I will be shocked. Most people, I don't know, bored sitting at home or, whatever it is. Most people chose just to go in person,
exactly.
Maybe they wanted to get out of the house, but
exactly.
But it's more just informing. I'm a strong believer in education, right? Hey,
Agreed.
Here's, you make the decision that's best for you. And we were able to do a good job putting that out to clients and making them feel comfortable.
That's awesome. That's definitely awesome. So the thing that I've been realizing lately, but this is true pretty much for every and any crisis, it always reveal or accelerate new consumer behaviors, obviously. So what is the one thing to you, like in your opinion, that you think that has been overlooked pre-COVID that really just COVID confirmed as an undeniable demand in an industry? This could be a product, this could be a service, this could be the way you as an agent or just do business. What is the one thing that you think it become indispensable throughout these times?
I think we always actually joke about this aspect, right? So the brokerage ourselves, we're set up. It's Pearson, which is me, right? And then my co-founder is my uncle.
Got it.
So he's older than me, right? I'm 35. He's 65. But very different mentalities when it comes to people being in office, right? And people understanding whether it's employee or agents or, kind of whatever it is. He's basically, if you're an employee of the company, you're supposed to be there 9 to 5, and that's how work's done. So you ensure that place. And we've always been, to be honest, our employees mostly come in, I think, because they enjoy it. Some, still coming in, we just have a good atmosphere and culture. But it's interesting to see, because he's been shocked, the productivity level of these people has not changed, right? It's doing even more work and providing more value and staying on top of things, even more. So I think across all industries, the brick and mortar space, how people conduct the travel expenses that say like accounting firm takes on and things like, it's probably not going to be needed the way it is today. But the one thing that we do on is right now understanding they're working virtually, but they have nothing else to do. Right? So, they can't go to the bar, they can't go to the restaurant, they can't go to the, they're kind of confined where it's like, well, what else am I going to do but work? So we're excited how that potentially changes once the world's back and, are people better virtually when they can go off and do other things and potentially get distracted. But, I think the biggest thing that everybody's going to realize is, you can, have people be productive and don't necessarily have to be in the office. You can be there for somebody, on demand and don't have to be in the office at all times. So, I think that'll potentially play into a little bit of our structure, moving forward. But all that being said, being a strong component on culture, I like being face-to-face. So I this entire time period from the standpoint of I miss people, I miss the interaction.
Agreed.
But you still can get some of it, right now. This is our first time.
Just meeting. Absolutely.
Conversation's been on the phone, and I'm like, oh man, now I know I didn't have to physically, meet you. Really kind of put that face to face, but it's going to be the biggest takeaway of this, I'm sure, for majority of people.
Absolutely, I agree on that. The thing that actually that I'm retaining from our conversation lately is that you were already thinking about being efficient and productive from the get-go. It goes back to what you just shared earlier about you were kind of already built for this. And throughout my conversation, obviously, as agents and team leader goes, you hear a lot about just the transactional aspect of their business, but really not that much about the efficiency and the productivity of the business. And I love the fact that you and your uncle, that's exactly the clash you're having in the real estate industry right now, because you have two ways of looking at things, and he's amazed about the fact that people aren't in the office doing 9 to 5, yet you guys are still being productive, right? And I just think that you guys are you just pretty much laid the foundation of, having a good process internally, and then whatever happens externally, we will still continue to do that. And this is not something that I'm seeing, to be frank with you, with some of the people that I get to talk with. It's more just everything is just unraveling everywhere. And
I'm sure that's taken place. I mean, when it comes down to our industry in general, right? There's obviously a lot of disruptors. Things coming. It's trying to this is my personal opinion, right? So I think technology, things like that, what it's built to do, hopefully, is to make my life, our agent, better, right? More, right? What I don't think will ever be replaced is the consumer in that aspect, right? And how the consumer agent. And the reason these pinpoint it, when I'm a consumer, I do my taxes every single year, right? So I know that's going to come up. So I'm happy to learn TurboTax. I know I have to do it every single year. But the real estate transaction, that might happen 7 years, 10 years, you know, people's buying cycles, usually like 7 to 10 years in terms of them doing a transaction. So the consumer's not going to go and learn it, right? Because they trust an agent, walk me through it, because why learn it in 7 to 10 years? I'm going to have to relearn it anyway. It's not something I competitively do. So, you know, technology and these things is great from a broker to agent operation. Let's try to make our life easier so we service the consumer better. But again, the consumer will always still be relationship based, and that's why us as agents will kind of stick around a lot longer than what I think a lot of people believe, right? So completely too much of a relationship based, trust based. Help me through this. It's my biggest emotional, financial decision. Like, I need somebody there for me. So I think that'll stick around for quite a while.
Completely agreed. And this is the conversation that I've been also having a little early on, because so I had the opportunity last year to go out and raise funding for the company. So I met with a ton of VCs, and then right before we close our funding round, so you will always have these people, not to name names, but everything about the real estate industry is about, but you're building a product that essentially allows agents to be more efficient and more productive. Why don't you build something that could just, take them out of the equation? And this is exactly where I just, raise up and leave the meeting, because it showed me that you don't even understand what you're talking about. Because in what world you will have a seller pick up a phone, like especially now, you get so much feedback and just people picking up the phone and going, what should I do now? Like, what should I do with my home now? Should I move on right now? Should I wait? How in the world can a machine, for example, be able to advise you on that aspect? It doesn't even make sense.
It'll be tough. Now, 100%. I agree with you. I mean, I think what technology can do is help agents beat the consumer to the punch, right?
Absolutely.
Better, get in touch with them before something that they know is coming up, to help alleviate the million of questions that you may receive.
Exactly.
But it will never change somebody. It's far too emotional, man. One small thing in that transaction, when you're talking about that much money and your family and, putting them into a property, and you're like, no, it's far, everybody kind of knows half our job is kind of being like a therapist,
absolutely,
people through it and, different things. But, that's my takeaway. And, that's why, to be honest with you, what we do as a company, we're not proprietary in-house with our tech.
Okay.
Spend all this money trying to develop, because agent adoption is always super low, right?
Super low. Absolutely.
Let's be honest in that aspect. But plus, there's people like you who haven't figured out to be able to do. So why wouldn't you just contract with the best third party that's going to
exactly
where it needs to be? So
agreed.
A lot of places, it's just, I don't understand why, some of the brokerages are going that direction, thinking that's what the end goal is. When really it should be, hey, just really take care of the real estate agents you have, give them every tool, give them everything they need. Exactly. And if they're successful, the client's going to be happy and we're going to be successful. So completely agree. That's kind of where I'm at with it all.
Completely agree, Eric. So here in Paris, where I'm at, so I get to also chat with some really cool and interesting real estate agents. So we had one of our customers based in New York, and we're talking about how the market over there is just pretty much seeing some kind of a deceleration, which is the case as well here in Paris as it pertains to home sales. Can you give us, because you're in DC and definitely have expertise on that market, can you talk a little bit about what's happening for you in the residential real estate market over there? Like what's the state of the market, transaction-wise, business-wise, what's happening over there?
Yeah, so in our markets, and we're Virginia, Maryland, DC, West Virginia, the bulk comes from what's called Northern Virginia, which is like anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes outside DC. Okay. But it's rates, low inventory, things are super competitive. They move in seconds. Wow. It's such a seller's market. So, we've been, it is literally insane right now in terms of how it's working. But those are the two factors that are really playing into it. Just rates being extremely low. It's almost free money to a lot of people to get out there and get a mortgage at this point. So we'll see what happens as those adjust. I'm sure there'll be a correction at some point, but it's been extremely good. I think you see a lot of economists and things like that saying like there will be the shift from urban to
exactly,
which I'm sure New York, would make sense because that's just so congested in terms of things. But but we haven't seen it much. For us, it's all good things in terms of the how the real estate market's been doing. Just continues to improve. We're well over 2019 levels.
Wow, that's incredible.
Business and things. So it's been exciting, and let's just hope that ride keeps going. So
absolutely, that's really, really incredible. So you personally, in your seat as a leader, as a CEO, like what are some of the lessons that you've been able to learn about you personally throughout this pandemic on a personal level? Like what are some of the things that you just discovered about you and you were like, oh wow, I didn't know that I need to work on that specifically?
Now I'm sure there's well, first of all, I'm sure there's things that everybody can work on. I'm definitely a leader, that's kind of that like Simon Sinek, always eat last.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm more, hey, you win, I'm going to win. So let me just focus on that taking place. So that kind of authenticity around it, I think a lot of people know. So I've kind of always operated in that standpoint. I will, looking at kind of COVID specifically, the one thing that to me that the virtual world can never do that I'm trying to still get my on is we're still growing during this time. We're adding about 30 a month. Growth has been great. We're still, really great. But the one factor where I think I don't want to say fall short because it's just tough. Figured out better is the onboarding in a virtual way, right?
Got it.
When we're in office, they come in, I'm face to face, I'm meeting our onboarding director. Then they go to orientation and they get to meet every single person. Yeah. And we have that set up in a virtual capacity, right? So you can do it. But I don't think people, that's why I'm a component of the brick and mortar too. Yeah. I don't think people feel it as much when they get to meet or know exactly who to go to, trying to watch video and a 2-hour, 3-hour orientation versus like being there with somebody. Yeah. So for us, how long are we have to figure that? Who knows how long this will go? But I'm hoping we can get I never want anybody to feel lost, right? So real estate's just unique in the fact that, hey, you're an independent contractor. There's personal accountability. You got to take advantage of things that we offer. We can't force you to do it, right? But I just always want to make sure people know what those things are as best as we can. So that way, anytime they have an issue, hey, we have that solution. It's right here. That solution's here. Whether it's, we have in-house lead programs, we have coaching and productivity programs. We have all these things that could just solve a problem right away. And in the virtual onboarding, I just hate how sometimes it's, could be missed that's there, right? Yeah. And then you don't see them, so you're not able to just, hey, oh yeah, you didn't know about this, unless they're reaching out or something. So I think we're doing a good job, but I want everything to be great. So that's something that virtual world takes away a little bit, and want to find a great solution to it, basically.
It is really hard indeed to do an onboarding through virtual. Like it's just, especially in being in a human, because I know we love to talk about technology as it pertains to real estate, but it's first and foremost and will always be a human business. So it's really, really complicated to be able to onboard people, especially new sales associate, to as you were talking about earlier, because you're really big and strong on culture. Those are the things that you don't get to do virtually, right? So you cannot just have that same level of human feel as it pertains to onboarding a new partner, a new agent in the company, as you can do it online. It's just not the same. You will say, go into this folder, open this doc, read it, and then get back to me if you have questions, which is so impersonal.
And there's no guarantee they'll actually read it, so then you're in trouble anyway.
Exactly.
So we'll continue. But again, that's kind of where we are. I feel like we do a great job offering it, but then again, how do we, taking place the way that it should have some more checks and balances in that aspect.
Completely agree. So you touched on a little bit earlier by saying that what you guys have been able to see lately, because obviously your agents are not coming to the office, you might even find ways to just adapt that moving forward. So like pretty much my next question for you will be like, do you think that what's going on right now forced you as a CEO to, reimagine or even redefine like how work gets done on an agent standpoint? are you thinking about maybe as a next step to just have, your sales associate a few times or a few days at the office and they can, work from home? Like, are you thinking about something, reimagining maybe the way you guys have been doing work over there?
Yeah, and I think there will be ways. I mean, like one thing, and again, we have a director of kind of agent culture, things like that puts everything on. But have you ever heard of Streamyard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we use Streamyard for our brokerage meetings. At this point, we get a better turnout, right?
Oh, wow.
So typically, we rent out a movie theater and we'll people there, and it's fun. Yeah. But when you do it via Streamyard, it has that nice professional presentation. Like we're getting, everybody watching those videos. And
that's awesome.
Because they can do it right from home. So I think some of the aspects, we'll be able to adjust, just make it, a little bit easier. I know at the end of the day, some people want to come to a brokerage meeting, but, it's settlement in the morning and all those type things. So some things we'll definitely be able to, adapt to and make changes. It's also been a great time for us to, we've had our priority list of things that we want to out. It's given us time to do those. So,
awesome.
I think what's super valuable to agents, the musts are culture, training, support, right? You got to get those. If you don't, why are you even in brokerage? But what agents are attracted to, be honest and blunt, are splits,
awesome.
Right? They want to have the best splits possible, and then leads. Kind of helps build their business. So this time has allowed us to create a lead program for all. So any agent here, if they want, optional, can get 40 leads from us a month, and then we can days and things like that. So we've been able to add more value props. We've been able to make adjustments that make it even better. And then moving forward, what our goal is, we've always been very organic in growth. Just to say, hey, let's get out there and put the word out of who we are and kind of take that to the next level. So, it's a lot of things. I'm sure we'll be doing more and more, but definitely has the wheels spinning on,
Love it.
Get, better and even more efficient,
Love it. So this is something that just came to me before our conversation. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put you on the spot here. I was thinking about something that just pretty much for myself, having a conversation as well. Like in hindsight, Eric, like knowing what you know now, the length of, this pandemic that we've been going through for the last 4 months, working from home pretty much. What do you think you would have done differently if you knew what you know now, pretty much, as it pertains to your habits? This could be, exercising more or working later. Or what do you think you would have done differently if you knew that this would be like 4 months?
That's funny, man. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna reverse it on you a little bit. For me, right? Because I'm a creature of habit, right? That's I'm known as I always consider myself like, hey, I'm probably average, right? And how smart I am, but I know how to use that at high capacity and know how to work to kind of make things happen. But for me, it is also proven, right?
Yes.
I can be at the beach with my family and provide the support that I need, right? I can, have hanging out with my kids and still be able to time block to make it efficient. So
agreed.
It's actually been more like, let's try to, what we do, compact it in smaller periods, get more done, and then, spend time with the family that you want to do.
Absolutely.
Things. And that's the craziest thing. Like literally, we have a place in Bethany Beach, which is in Delaware, and my wife loves going there. And no one's known that I've been there, right?
Wow.
Go there. No one even no one knows, whatsoever. It's not like they see the background and think I'm somewhere different, or it does lend time to say, hey, you don't have to necessarily, I can be a little bit more flexible and
agreed.
Time and be more present and what's important to me,
Absolutely.
Like that as well. And people here still get everything that they're able to do, if not more, because I'm more dialed in during the times that I'm actually, doing that work. So for me, that's been a big, change. Working out, man, that's funny. I think they say they said 80% of people gain 16 pounds during this.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's something that my gym put out to me. So I don't know how a lot of people have gained 16 pounds or whatever, but
wow.
I put a gym in the garage the second.
That's such a
I'm a 5:00 a.m. I got to work out.
That's a brilliant idea. You know? Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a brilliant idea. Oh wow.
Yeah, but that's awesome. All. That's all been. No, everything's been good. That's probably what I've learned the most out of this is, you know, you got to be present in both and still, you know, give everybody everything they need. So completely agree. I actually had the same pretty much issue when this thing started, because as you said, you didn't know like when am I going to be able to work and when am I going to be able to just, you know, be present with the family. And knowing that what I know now, I would have done some kind of a bundle, because as well I'm like a 4-5 a.m. Riser, so I would have done everything that I can to be done by 10:30 a.m. And then from there, pretty much I'm just, you know, open for whatever, because everybody's just here. And then not knowing that, I just thought, oh, this thing will last 2 weeks, you know, so I'm going to keep on doing what I do. And then 4 months after, you're still going through it. Like if I knew that, I would have just completely organized myself a little bit differently. Oh yeah, for sure, man. I've actually been a big proponent of that. You know, again, wake up early, do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Be done by like 11 with the important.
Exactly.
I've always been a proponent of kind of white space. That's like filled in with appointments or things. If nothing's there, go looking for things. Right. It's like, you know, running your mind, get the priorities done. And then after that, I'm probably going to be busy because I have a million, you know, appointments because I just share my calendar and people's schedule. Yeah. But if there is white space, well, let me take advantage of that. And,
exactly.
Just be looking for things to do, basically. So
absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's been all good.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And the last thing that I would like to ask you here is, so pretty much on a personal level, on a business standpoint, like what do you have? What's your objectives pretty much for the remainder of the year? This could be on a business related standpoint or on a personal level. Any vacations coming up? What's going on for you?
Yeah, we're going. We'll be back to the beach a couple times, right?
Awesome.
You know, enjoy that aspect. Our kids.
Awesome.
Our kids start school here soon. I think a lot of places it's kind of virtual. We got our kids all set up, so they'll start school in September. You know, so we'll kind of have those things going. Me personally, like, you know, I'm definitely, you know, small steps to a bigger goal. We vision ever since we start. Like we're not planning on expanding across the country. We're a regional firm. We want to be a regional powerhouse. So
that's great.
It would be the biggest and baddest where we work, the DMV.
Awesome.
And remain this kind of mom and pop, right? That people enjoy coming to and being a part of. So, you know, I'm more kind of long-term focused in terms of, hey, let's just continue to do these items to get to where we want to be. I'd love to be at, you know, 5,000 plus agents in 5 years.
Wow. Awesome.
You know, X% market share or whatever. So we plan on doing this for a long time. I think we have, you know, an amazing company now. We pretty much, I can't think of anything that we don't offer at this point to kind of help it grow and things. So, you know, we just want to continue to go down that path. My uncle is, and he's 65. So he's like, Eric, I got 5 more years. So let's make sure we get to that point. Before I'm coming in an hour a week and, you know, just saying hi. You know, but we're excited, man. We just plan on, we love what we do and just,
that is awesome.
We plan on, you know, going down that path.
That is awesome. That's something that we lack, you know, not only in the real estate industry today, but even as businesses, this aspect of focus pretty much. So everybody wants to do everything. And I love what you just shared there, because what you're pretty much looking to build, it was what we call a small giant. You guys are great at one thing and one thing only. And that's awesome.
Right.
So
and I'm with you, man. To be honest, that's why most agents fail. They try to do everything instead of being great at like 2 or 3 things, you know?
Exactly.
So,
completely agree. So really, thank you, Eric. Amazing insight. I'm really, really excited that we finally got to do it. That's a wrap for us. Recovery episode 7 with Eric Pearson. You can catch this episode on YouTube and on all platforms streaming podcasts. And remember, in the recovery, don't just get back to the same place, but strive to get to a better place. Thank you very much, Eric. I really appreciate your time, man.
Hey, it was a pleasure, man. I love that tagline. That's awesome.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. This is something that I really wanted to do, and really appreciate your patience. And that was a true treat for me today.
Awesome, man. No, it was a pleasure too, man. It was great, again, putting a face to the name and everything.
Yeah.
Collaborate on some stuff in the future, but
absolutely,
time, man. It was a blast. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely, my man. Have a good day ahead, and please stay safe and healthy. And then I will just follow on over email to tell you like when the episode will air. And I think it's going to be done in a couple of weeks, maybe early September. And and until then, I will just keep you posted.
All right, Alan. I appreciate it, man. Great talking to you.
My pleasure, Rick. Have a good one.
Later.
Yeah, later, man.